to get in and $30 for claimant reading. And we've been doing this for probably about almost 10 years now, and it's a lot of fun, and we meet very interesting people. Okay, next, awaken your spirit, ignite your journey, share your magic at Althea's Festival for the Soul. Althea is now accepting applications for vendors and practitioners. Participation in this fair. I get it. But we're looking for more people. Reserve your spot today. Email the spiritual director at altheacenter.org. For free admission to the fair, if that's what you're looking for, you could sign up and volunteer. We need people to staff the prayer booths, set up, clean up, and welcome our guests. Sign up with Kristen again in the back. And then we're moving on to June's busy month. Denver Pride Parade team, when it is June 29th, Sunday, 8:30 at Cheeseman Park, just right up there. I've gone with the Althea group a couple times, and it's really fun and uplifting and inspiring, and everybody is included and welcome. Merge with us in place of our Sunday gathering. We need strong community support this year to sign up to be on the committee, so sign up to be on the committee, and or just walk by. Emailing Kristen and volunteer at Althea Center. Either way, it will be joined with full of friends and fun, and that is true. And then getting you again, happy. Directly after every Sunday service, we gather in the dining room right over there for community social time, complimentary tea, coffee, and snacks. And anyone who wants to is welcome to bring baked goods or snacks to share. It's really fun. It's a chance to get to know people and, find out how they got here and why they're here and so forth. So we can do that. And finally, we're trying to grow our YouTube presence. We do have one, Althea TV YouTube. We're trying to reach our first 1,000 subscribers. I think we're about halfway there. Help us reach our goal by liking and subscribing. Okay.
Thank you, Katie, for those stimulating announcements today. It is a busy month. It's a very busy month. Thank you, Katie. So my name is Rick Kidston, and I'll be your MC for the rest of the service. So we just for the newcomers, we want to let everyone know, and it's a good reminder that we are a non-denominational center created over 100 years ago. Over 100 years ago. Based on the practice of New Thought, ageless wisdom tradition, we support all races, faiths, cultures, and sexual orientations. We are rooted in the spiritual practices of prayer, meditation, and spiritual teachings, and of course, community. It's a wonderful, wonderful community. We support every sentient being in furthering their journey on the spiritual path toward awakening the spirit of oneness in all of us. And at this time, we'd like to welcome our first-timers. If you are a first-timer and are willing and able, please stand so that we may recognize you. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh my God. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to pass out a flower so that after service, if you're still holding it, we can embarrass you we can greet you and welcome you to our community. So thank you for sharing your day with us. Today, we also pause to honor and celebrate mothers. And Mother Earth, of course, and all those who have nurtured, sacrificed, prayed, and loved unconditionally. So whether you are biological, adopted, foster, grandmother, spiritual, or a mother in heart and deed, we acknowledge the profound impact you have made in our lives Thank you, mothers everywhere. And so now we'll move into our opening prayer with Connie Carter.
So now is the time that we get to take the opportunity to move out of the busyness and into that silence. If it feels comfortable, close your eyes and just take that breath. That deep breath that drops you into your heart, into that space that automatically connects you to that one power, that one source, that one infinite wisdom that is known by many names. For it is here in our heart that we absolutely know the oneness with that power, that creator of all that is. The creator that created the mothering instinct in each one of us, male or female. Creator of that wisdom that brings us together here today to celebrate in love, in kindness, the wholeness that empowers us to unfold the life that we desire. For we are each here by divine design. We have come to this moment to celebrate who we are and what we are. We have come to be a part of this community for this moment. And we know that it is good and very good. And so as I speak my word and I claim the glory of this day, the power of love, and the truth of wholeness, I say thank you. I say thank you, Mother, Father, God, for this opportunity to recognize and know the goodness that is here right now. And so with a smile in my heart and with a joy in this day, I release and I let go, knowing it is so, and so it is. Amen.
Good morning. I would like you to join me. All right, hopefully that was better. I would like you to join me in Althea's statement of being. The words are on the screen. God is all, invisible and visible. One presence, one mind is all. One is all, is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. We are individualized expressions of God and are ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. Today, for our one of our community songs, we're going to sing the same song we always sing, but we're going to do it with a video accompaniment. So if you've been around Althea before and you've seen some of us use American Sign Language as we're reciting the face of God, Karen Drucker, who's the writer of the song, is going to, her and a friend essentially will teach us American Sign Language in order to sing the song. You don't have to do the hand movements if you don't want to, but hopefully you can sing So now it is my honor to include, or welcome back really, Gonzalo Tepa is a jazz and classical musician, a bass player, composer, educator, and two-time Latin Grammy nominee for Best Traditional Pop Vocal Album and Best Latin Jazz Album. For working on the recordings Tiempo by Linda, whose last name I cannot pronounce, and Third Element. He was named Best Jazz Soloist by Downbeat Magazine in 2004, 2005, 2006. He received Best Jazz Soloist Award for the Greeley Jazz Fest in 2004 and 2005. He's performed with a number of really amazing people, and I did not practice those names. So we're just gonna be really, I want you to be very impressed because this is a really awesome list. But please enjoy our guest musician today, Gonzalo.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Mother's Day. Everybody. Even for men.
shift of consciousness, you can thrive as well as create your future. Elaine Seiler, author and facilitator.
Thank you, Mike. What a great quote. Mother is the name of God, little children. It's time to introduce our guest speaker today, Dr. Mark Armbruster. Is it Buster or Booster?
Brewster.
Brewster. There's a typo. Tell me. Who is Brewster? Just kidding. I kind of like Armbuster. From the Vitality Center. See, aren't we vital? We're all vital here. Blending ancient intuition with modern science, Dr. Armbruster integrates network spinal with elimination-based nutritional therapy and shockwave technology to release what no longer serves from old injuries and hidden toxins. He's worked with everyone, from spiritual masters to high-powered CEOs, and he understands both the stillness of presence and the intensity of performance. A black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, a student of ego and energy, and part American Indian, Mark brings a deep reverence for nature, spirit, and the sacred intelligence of the human body. His work invites people to reconnect with their hearts, clear what blocks their inner knowing, and rise into a fuller, freer, and more loving life. So please welcome Dr. Mark.
Thank you, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. Happy Mother's Day to everybody. I enjoy the talk when shift hits the fan. And I want to explain, what does when poop hits the fan? Because it's a very funny type of thing. So poop is a substance. Fans are spinning. And when it hits the fan, it goes all over the place, and it's a big mess. Right? It's like, what the? So when shift hits the fan, the shift to me is a perspective. And so when I used to ask for help, I would put conditions on it. I would be like, dear God, please, I really want to heal. I want to shift. I want to be the best self. But not on Mondays and Tuesdays, because I got sports. And please don't involve my dad or my mom or Joey from high school. No. But I am ready. I am so open to change. But just remember those days, because I want to have a good life, okay? And so the shift is the conditions of our protection. Saying it has to be this way, it has to be this way. So we're going along in life and we say, I want to heal. And so we start to heal, but we come across this perspective, and when it hits the fan, things get disassembled, things don't start to work. And so we get start bummed out, and we start to either judge ourselves or wrong. What I believe is that we're already beautiful, amazing, perfect God. But we have these layers of tarps, of animal fur, of other stuff that's on us, and we don't know it. Subconscious. Could be from past traumas and stuff, but it's a vibration that's not who we truly are. We're this amazing, beautiful being, and we've experienced it. How many of you have experienced a beautiful day? It was amazing connection with God, and the next day was a Winnie the Pooh Buster day. Right? It was what happened? What happened? It's when the light comes in, we feel it, we love it, we endure it. A vibration. But then the light starts to shine on what wasn't beautiful, amazing. And so when the shift hits the fan, it's very alarming, because we think, I dealt with this before. How can that be? When I was a kid, Creighton High School, just down the street, asked someone to the Sadie Hawkins dance. And she said yes, I was so excited. And then we were driving up to our cabin up at St. Mary's Glacier with no phones. Right when we were getting in the car, the phone rang and picked it up, and she told me that she wasn't going to go with me anymore. She was going to go with this other guy. And I was crushed. I was, I think, 8th grade, but it was my first time. My heart was broken. And I had to sit in the car, and they're singing songs, and, you know, bottles of beer on the wall, and I'm like crying on the inside because it was so painful. The first time I felt the despair, betrayal, everything. And I couldn't, and it was so difficult because I was there with my family and they're having fun, and I was just like, I wasn't myself. Then all of a sudden, this feeling came over me like, I'll help you, or, and it wasn't a great feeling, but it was like, I can deal with this. Then all of a sudden I felt a little bit of numbness. I felt numb. And I wasn't feeling his heartbreak anymore. And that was the ego coming in and saying, I'll protect you. I'll protect you. And it's like, okay. But what I didn't realize, that numbness came over me, and I wasn't as painful, and I started to move on, and I didn't deal with the stuff. I didn't feel it. I stopped feeling. But what happened is that it created a little barrier between me and life. So it has the vibration of not joy, love, and passion. It was more denial. It was more numbing. So when I work with people, I love seeing the unfoldment of you. It's like a flower. And we all have a unique vibration. And what I've learned is that sometimes our most beautiful vibration gets protected as we were kids. Because when we're kids, we're open, we're free. And the main goal with this talk is to realize at the end, it's about freedom. Freedom. Freedom to me is flexibility. Because the present moment, in my opinion, is where God is. And it shows us information. And when we're flexible and we're free, we're able to move with the light of love. We're able to move in a direction where our heart sends us. But sometimes with the old protection mechanisms in there, we start to move like, oh, someone invited me to this party, it's great. It's like, oh, no, I don't like parties. I get embarrassed. That time when I was in high school and I accidentally threw up in the punch, and I can't do it anymore. But that old vibration of me getting sick at the pump, actually, yeah, I did. And also I was bombing for apples at the same Sadie Hawkins dance. It took someone else. And in the middle of bombing for the apple, I sneezed and snuck. So we all have trauma, right? We all have these things that we don't, but it gets buried in our system. And because it gets buried, it gets subconscious. We don't know about it. The thing about subconscious is that it creeps up when we're triggered. And to me, I've trained myself, triggers are golden. When I get triggered, I train myself to be excited, like, wow, okay. If I feel what's going on because I was triggered, it was subconscious I didn't know about. So that part of me, that protective ego thing, exposed itself. Because it exposed itself, now it's vulnerable. And all I have to do is follow that emotion, follow that feeling. Follow whatever that is. If it's anger, I'll just like be angry and just follow it. And not try to figure it out. Because what slows me down is this analytical mind. I try to figure everything out. And because I'm trying to figure everything out, oh, it was because I was in the 3rd grade, and because this happened and that happened, it's taking me out of my heart. Because we all know is that our heart is where the salvation and the surrender becomes. Because to become who you are, you have to be clear of who you're not. We're not the ego, we're not our anger, we're not our sadness, we're not our emotions. We're this amazing being of love. And I forgot to look at what time I started. We're this amazing being of love. And so, our job as a community, our job with our individual self, is to be in surrender and to love. And sometimes some hair gel, and I was putting the cap on. I was having a really hard time putting the cap on. I was getting really pissed off at myself. What's wrong with me? It's like, I can't even put the cap on. It's just not going on. And I was thinking, why? What, have I lost the ability to put a cap on? Am I getting, And then what I realized is like, there was like stuff on the thing, and it wasn't about me. How many times in my life have someone came and gave me, they're like mean to me and mad at me, right? And I reacted to it like there's something wrong with me. Same thing what I learned with this is that it wasn't me that was the problem putting the cap on, it was because this was clogged with the hair gel. But I was saying, what's wrong with me, what's wrong with me? So when people used to come up to me and say, Mark, you're this, you're that, or that, I would really be offended, and I'd go, wow, what's going on? Why am I this way? I feel really upset. But then I realized it's like, it's their stuff. They may have had a bad day. They may have had someone pass, and they're very sensitive, and they saw something and they pointed it out. Then I took this a step further, and then I said, you know what? I'm responsible. I'm the one who's really messing with the hair gel. I'm the one who clogged this. And so I looked at saying, okay, if someone gives me stuff, is there something that I did to them in the past? So I started to take responsibility. And that responsibility leads to in my opinion, one of the most important things with healing and self-love: surrender. Surrender is the most powerful event in our lives. And one thing that can really combat any heavy stuff, darkness, whatever, humility. And in the act of surrender, that's where the humility comes. Sometimes these patterns are in the brain, and we work on them to try to clear them in the brain. But what I found out, there's a little secret. To me, the gateway to transformation and to let go of these roads is the physical body. Physically is where, because we try to work on the patterns in our brain, but actually the patterns are anchored in our posture. What do kids do when they fall? They'll get up and shake and move their body. What do we do as adults when we trip or fall? We'll get really stiff and tense, and we'll be really embarrassed because our physical body is stiff and rigid. So, to me, I call it bringing in the Calvary to help someone to heal. Because what's lacking with this form of self-discovery is energy. And a lot of times our nervous system is stuck in a fight or flight. We're anxious, we're stressed all the time, we're worried, not from right now, but for something in the past. And something that may not really stress us out, but because there's old stuff stuck in us, in our body, we look at it like it's closer to us. Like the rearview mirror. Things may seem, that saying that says things may seem closer than what they are. So it brings a filter in that all of a sudden it makes it worse than what it actually is. So and it brings a trigger. So part of the healing is acknowledging, I'm triggered right now. And like a New Yorker would say, what are you going to do about it? And that, to me, is help the body start to let go. Yoga is about movement and stretching the physical body, the breath work, the movement, the style of work that I do is to help the nervous system go from a sense of overload, fight or flight, to the healing part of your nervous system, which is the parasympathetic, which is the breath, which is the light. And when shift hits the fan, I call a practice member who was on the table, and she was a very big spiritual person who's when I practiced in South Africa. She was laying there, and I was working very gently. All of a sudden she sat up, and she said, I vowed I would never feel this again. And she started to get up and walk away. And I said, from my experiences, a lot of times it takes about 3 to 10 to 60 seconds to feel this heavy stuff. Because sometimes this stuff happens like when we're 3 years old. Sometimes it's pre-verbal. If it's pre-verbal, we don't know why we feel bad or off. Because our brain wasn't developed in order to process that. So if you were 1 year old and you were having a strong connection with your mom and dad, all of a sudden you were left a week because your parents went to Hawaii, and then you have this pattern of being lost or being abandoned, but you can't explain it. That is anchored in the brain, but also in the posture. So again, to be who you are, you have to be clear of who you're not. But the physical body is where you can get things to move really fast. Because we're all trying our best in any given moment. But what if you use the present moment when a trigger happens, or you get some form of therapy that helps you connect more with your body? Then your heart will start to open and you'll know what to do what's next. Instead of praying to God, God, please help me, but not on Wednesday. And it's like something's happened automatically. Healing happens automatically when we want to try to control it. It's like if we have a runny tummy, diarrhea, and we have a big business meeting, and you go, okay, diarrhea, I got an hour presentation, please. Not now, not now. You have this whole thing and you're talking about it. In the middle of your presentation, 10 minutes in, can't. Same thing when you're getting sick, if you're throwing up. In the middle of it, you don't go, oh, what am I doing? How does that work? Is my stomach opening up? It's automatic. You cut yourself accidentally. You put a Band-Aid on it. Within like 3 weeks, take it and it's done. Our mind did not to be involved with it. But how many times do we let our minds try to get involved with our healing? Sometimes we get to this place where we dump. Have you ever experienced a healing where you just feel like you're dumping stuff? And it's like there's this beautiful spiritual bowl in front of us. And we just dumped a whole lot of old trauma and stress or memories in this big, beautiful bowl. And our job is to lift it up into the light and let the presence of God to dissolve it, because it's too big for us to do it ourselves. But what happens, or what I have done with my educated brain, I start to look in the bowl and go, oh, look at that. Look at my old cast that happened. And look at that time, look at that dog bone with the dog that bit me. And I start to analyze and figure out what's in that bowl. And God's looking down at me and the angels are going, dude, his head's in the way. I can't shine the light. We'll take his head off. Right? And that's because we're trying to figure out with our educated brain. Our educated brain is just to memorize and to help us out, but not to run the show. It's that God presence, our heart inside us, that if we allow it to run the show, and our job is do our best to stay in that. And what I love is like, the key is our physical, not the brain, not the spiritual. When we start to get the holiness in our body, and to me that's what holiness means. Body, mind, and spirit balanced, wholeness, saint-like, sage-like. We all are that. I used to play a game with patients when I had a retreat, and I'd have one person come up and say, okay, you're an enlightened master, and we're going to ask you questions. And it was amazing. Even this, when I was in South Africa, this Afrikaans farmer who was really just like salt of the earth. And the stuff that came out of him, once he got used to it, it took time. Everybody, just these messages, how we did it, it just comes. So when we take this step and the light comes in, shift hits the fan. And stuff happens because we want it a certain way. It's like, I want to heal without my dad being involved. Come on. I want to heal without having my brother remind me when I accidentally put a red shirt and all the white clothes and all my family's clothes were pink and I got in trouble. I don't, that was too embarrassing. So getting the limits and stopping that ego protection, the structure, hides those gifts. So what happens when you're healing, all of a sudden you realize, wow, I'm really good at writing poetry. Or I can sing, I didn't know I could sing. But guess what happens? Many times you hear stories where patients say, oh, I feel like singing again. And I go, well, what happened? They go, well, I remember when I was 3 years old, I was singing and dancing in front of the TV, and my uncle hit me really hard because it was during the Super Bowl. And her brain remembered that gift equals pain. Gift equals pain. So guess what? We're not going to do our gift. And a lot of times a very clever protective mechanism that we have is that we show the opposite of our gift. I've had patients, an entire block in Los Angeles referred this woman in, and she was the meanest, angriest woman. Once she started being adjusted, she had lupus, and then she went to the grocery store, and her nose started running really bad. She used an entire box of Kleenex. Then after that, her pain decreased by 50%. 2 weeks later, the same thing. Then her pain, she used about half a box of Kleenex, her pain was completely gone. But what happened, how I know people are healing is that their life changes. Because if you clear out a vibration of trauma from your system, guess what? It's gone. And your life starts to change. And you start to move toward more love, more light in your system. She threw a block party for the entire block to kind of apologize. Because she used to, like, dogs would poop in her lawn, she would take the poop and put it on their doorstep. She would squirt people with hoses, but then once she started to heal, and she was on prednisone, and so her body was detoxing the prednisone. So it doesn't matter how young, how old, if your body, if you still have some old stuff inside your system that you don't know about, what the secret is, how it shows up is a trigger. And so when you get triggered, instead of getting angry and more angry, just stop. Okay, I'm triggered right now. Feel it. Feel the anger. And it's difficult for me to feel certain emotions. Certain emotions are some are really difficult some trauma, some stuff is very difficult to heal. So let's say this is, for me, this was an anger trauma. I was bit by a dog when I was 2, so I trusted this dog, and I was mad at the dog because he almost killed me. So this comes up sometimes, and then I talk about it, I did therapy and EMDR, and I would kind of do it, or I try to pull it out when people ask me questions. What finally helped release this is that I was surrendering. I was feeling the feeling of anger. I was surrendering enough until I got underneath it. And when I was underneath it enough, when the anger turned more to love, I pushed it up into the light, and the light of God, the universe, dissolved it. I didn't used to use my educated mind and going, well, he was a German Shepherd. German Shepherds are trained, so it's okay, I forgive you and all that. It didn't work because it still came in. It took the surrender of me not trying to figure it out, to push it up into the light, and for the light to dissolve it. We don't have to figure out, if I'm covered in all these robes, I don't have to come here and go, is this a bear or a raccoon pelt? Is this is this a designer one? Maybe I can just sell this and make some money off of it. No, because that slows our healing down. You just take it off. Thank you, I love you, goodbye. Thank you, I love you, goodbye. And the deeper we go, and we all know this, the more we go deeper into surrender, service starts to show up. Our heart opens up. We start to do things we feel like doing. It's easier for us to give and to receive. How am I doing on time, by the way? So in closing, on Mother's Day, with the beautiful birthing process, it's sacred. It's so sacred. And there's birthing processes that we all do, everybody, male, female, whatever you decide to be, it's a creation. Creations can be messy. And you surrender. Thank you.
I think your alter ego name should be Dr. Armbruster. That'd be good. It's time to reach into that infinite abundance called your wallet. And with a heart, give what you can from your heart. And we'll be sending these around.
So we just know we are one infinite source of love, and that each and every one of us gives from our hearts.
And if you would like to read this on the screen here with us, the universe provides all that I need and all that I do. With great joy, sharing and prosperity, planting seeds for a world I know manifest. And so it is. Amen. So there are a wide variety of ways to give. Thanks to our donors who have set up recurring weekly or monthly donations. You can go to our Althea website, set it up there. You can scan the QR code on the back of today's program or on the screen. And we have a new device if you want to donate via credit card. And it's at our welcoming table. Does it have a name?
Clover.
Clover. Isn't that clever? Clover. So take advantage of that. Thank you so much. All right, it is time for our community song. Do we have a community song?
We do.
We do.
There's a slide.
Slide coming up.
All right. So if you are able, please stand, join hands, and we will let her work.
Keep upstanding. And keep on with the head. And let's get ready to shout it out. Something wonderful is happening to me right now. Something wonderful is happening to me right now. Okay, that was a good beginning. Let's try it. Something wonderful is happening to me right now. Something wonderful is happening to me right now. It is that thing called life.